evening. Welcome to World News. I am Wisdom Onyisi. First, the headline. Tinubu nominates 3 new board members for Code of Conduct Bureau. China investigates defense minister for corruption. Israel agrees to cease fire with Hezbollah. And on sport, Mascherano appointed as Inter Miami head coach. Now the news in details. In a move to enhance oversight mechanism, President Bola Tinubu has nominated 3 new members to fill existing vacancies on the board of the Code of Conduct Bureau. The announcement was made in a formal letter addressed to the Senate President. A statement by Special Advisor to the President, Information and Strategy Bayo Onanuga listed the nominees as Fatai Ibikunle from Oyo State, Kennedy Ibeme from Cross River, and Justice Ibrahim Bubal, a retired judge of the Federal High Court. The development comes on the heels of back and forth moves by both the Senate and House of Representatives to sack Omar Danladi as chairman of the Code of Conduct Tribunal over allegation of corruption and misconduct. Away from that, the Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Zephaniah Gisalo, has commended the National Lottery Regulatory Commission for its regulatory functions and contribution to the growth of the Nigerian economy. He said he gave the commendation at the just concluded 2024 stakeholders meeting hosted by NLRC in Lagos, aimed at continually carrying stakeholders along while discharging its mandate as the regulatory agency for the gaming and lottery industry in the country. Director General of NLRC Larry Bachebiamila told the stakeholders and industry operators that the Commission will continue to engage relevant stakeholders in secondary health facilities for improved management of viral hepatitis cases. A statement on Tuesday noted that the Director of Disease Control, Lagos State Ministry of Health, Victoria Ogunjobi, in her welcome address emphasized the significance of the training in tackling viral hepatitis, a highly infectious disease of public health importance. She added that the program aimed to ensure access to care in all health facilities, a step towards achieving the World Health Organization target of eliminating viral hepatitis by 2030. Now, when we return, news from other parts of Africa. Please stay with us.
This is Hillstv. Quality broadcasting is what we'll bring to you. Now we be this
Hillstv, Polka.
Welcome back. Now news from other parts of Africa. Voting is underway in Namibia in what could be the most competitive election since independence from white ruled South Africa 34 years ago. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah is seeking to become the country's first female president. She is running on behalf of the governing Southwest African People's Organization, SWAPO, to replace Herge Jimbo, who died in February after 9 years in office. But high rate of unemployment, poverty, inequality, and corruption allegations have eroded support for the party. Nandi-Ndaitwah's main challenger is Penduleni Itula of the Independent Patriots for Change IPC party, as well as 14 other candidates. According to reports, long queues had already formed at schools and other polling centers as voting began this morning. Away from that, Mali's ruling junta caught the signal of a popular broadcasting company after a prominent politician criticized the military rulers of neighboring Burkina Faso during a televised debate. Earlier this month, Malian authority arrested and jailed politician Issa Kau N'Djir after the claim during a debate that the military rulers of Burkina Faso had fabricated evidence of a foiled coup in September. The director of the broadcaster was also questioned by the authorities. The decision to cut the broadcasting signal is the latest crackdown on press freedom and political dissent in Mali, which has been ruled by a military regime since 2020. In June, the authorities arrested 11 opposition politicians and several activists. That followed the junta decision to ban the media from reporting on the activities of political parties and associations. Now we move to other parts of the world after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Now news from other parts of the world. Chinese Defense Minister Dong Jun has been placed under investigation for corruption, according to a report early hours of Wednesday, the latest official to fall in a sweeping crackdown on graft in the country's military. Citing current and former U.S. officials familiar with the situation, reports have it that the investigation into Dong was part of that broader probe into military corruption. If confirmed, Dong would be the third Chinese defense minister in a role to fall under investigation for corruption. We also have that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he would bring U.S. brokered proposal for a ceasefire with Hezbollah in Lebanon to his government for approval. In an address, Netanyahu said he would put a ceasefire outline to ministers. He did not say how long the truce would last, noting the length of the ceasefire depends on what happens in Lebanon. Key Israeli backer, the United States has led ceasefire effort for Lebanon alongside France. Even as Netanyahu spoke about the ceasefire, the Israeli military carried out multiple strikes on heart of Beirut, while the army said some 15 projectiles had entered Israeli airspace from Lebanon. Russia has made a rare admission saying that a key air defense system and an air base in the Kursk region were hit by Ukraine with U.S.-supplied ATACMS missiles. The defense military statement, which threatened retaliation, came a day after Ukraine said it had hit target in the region. Meanwhile, Ukraine Air Force said Russia launched a record 188 drones in a single attack on Monday night, damaging critical infrastructure. Tensions have been high since the U.S. reportedly allowed Ukraine to use ATACMS missiles on targets inside Russia last week in response to Russia deploying North Korean troops. Up next is business. Please stay with us. Welcome now to business news. The Naira yesterday appreciated to 1,755 Naira per dollar in the parallel market from 1,770 per dollar on Monday. Similarly, the Naira appreciated to 1,659.44 per dollar in the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market. Data from the FMDQ showed that the indicative exchange rate from NAFIM fell to 1,659.144 44 per dollar from 1,675.62 naira per dollar on Monday, indicating 16.18 appreciation from the naira. The volume of dollars traded turnover increased by 219.5% to 425.98 US dollars. 425.98 million, I beg your pardon, US dollars from 108.79 million US dollars beginning of this week. Consequently, the margin between the parallel market and NAFEM rate narrowed to 95.56 per dollar from the 117.38 per dollar on Monday. Still on business news, where we have you know that the Ghana cedi turned its revival for the second consecutive week, supported by increased liquidity by the Bank of Ghana. This follows the central bank's injection of 199.8 million US dollars into the market, along with foreign exchange inflow of the 21.55 million US dollars from market participants. The local unit recouped 1.42% week on week against the dollar. It also gained 3.03% versus the pound and 3.36% to the euro. The cedi quoted at the mid-rate of 16.79 Ghana cedis to a dollar at the close of the week's trading last week. It, however, began the week going for 16.70 to the American greenback. So far this year, it has, however, lost 27% in value to the US dollar. We also have you know that China and Mexico lashed out Tuesday after Donald Trump threatened to begin his presidency with an immediate trade war against the top three U.S. economic partners. Trump made this threat on social media post announcing huge import tariffs against neighbors Canada, Mexico, and also rival China if they refuse to stop illegal migration and drug smuggling into the U.S. China responded that no one will win a trade war, while Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum warned that for every tariff there will be a response in kind. Such tariffs threaten to disrupt the global economy, deepen already fierce tensions with China and upend relations with the United States, two huge neighbors. Still to come is sport. Please stay with us. Welcome back now to sport news. Inter Miami have appointed former Argentina midfielder Javier Mascherano as their new head coach, the Major League Soccer club said on Tuesday. Mascherano, who will coach his former Barcelona teammate Lionel Messi at the club, replaces Gerardo Martino, who stood down last week due to personal reasons. The 40-year-old has most recently worked as coach of the Argentine under-20 and the Olympic team which competed the Paris Olympics. He made 203 appearances for Barcelona, and as well as playing alongside Messi, he was a teammate of current Inter Miami player Jordi Alba and Sergio Busquets and Luis Suarez. Still on sport news, Man City blew a 3-0 lead to draw 3-3 against Feyenoord and a Champions League thriller on Tuesday and extend their winless run to 6 games. The English champions did snap a 5-game losing streak, but did little to boost confidence ahead of Sunday's trip to Premier League leaders Liverpool by conceding 3 times in the final 15 minutes. Pep Guardiola has admitted his star-studded squad were fragile and lacking in confidence after the worst run of his managerial career. 2 goals from Erling Haaland, either side of Ilkay Gundogan's defeated effort, looked set to restore some order for Man City. While the defense fragilities had been the root cause for the staggering collapse in recent weeks, was exposed in the closing stage. We also have you know that Salah spoke out after scoring twice in Liverpool's 3-2 win over Southampton last weekend and suggested he was more likely to leave than stay with the Premier League leaders. Salah's goal helped Liverpool extend their lead at the top of the table to 8 points. The 32-year-old Egypt international has been at the club since 2017, has scored 12 goals in 18 appearances in this season. Salah has been heavily linked with a move to Saudi Arabia since the oil-rich country launched a campaign to lure some of the world's greatest players to its league. And that's your sport news and world news. Now we move to the rest of the news after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Now the rest of the news. World leaders have welcomed a ceasefire deal between Israel and Lebanese militant group Hezbollah, which came into force on Wednesday morning. The ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon will protect Israel from the threat of Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah and creates the condition for a lasting calm. U.S. President Joe Biden and French President Emmanuel Macron said ahead of the truce coming into force. The announcement today will cease the fighting in Lebanon and secure Israel from the threat of Hezbollah and other terrorists. Organization operating from Lebanon, the leaders said in a joint statement. And that's what news. But before we go, here are the headlines again. We brought to you that President Tinubu nominates 3 new board members for Code of Conduct Bureau. We informed you that China investigates defense ministers for corruption. We also told you that Israel agrees to ceasefire with Hezbollah. And on sport, Mascherano appointed as Inter Miami head coach. Remember to visit us on Facebook at Hillstv Abuja, Instagram at Hillstv.